Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, everybody, how we doing today? How are we doing? Hopefully we are doing well. Hopefully everybody's doing well today on this good old Friday. I'm gonna keep returning to this Kamala Harris stuff and all of the things that are surrounding it as long as they keep being egregious. Put a 1 in the chat if you are in Florida and you are recovering from the hurricane. My prayers went out to you guys. Not only that you survived, but that if you happen to have sustained losses in your possessions, in your home, and you have to pick back up, my prayers are with you as well for that. Because if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, by the time it made landfall, was it still a Cat 5? Or is it correct when I read that it had dropped to Cat 3? And I'm saying dropped because, I mean, a Cat 3 hurricane is still crazy. Okay, EQ said it was a Cat 3 on landfall, which is, I was glad to hear at least that much, that it wasn't at its most devastating by the time it hit landfall. But a Cat 3 is still, I've never been in a hurricane, so I don't know how that feels. But my prayers still go out to everyone. So by no means am I trying to like downplay it. Okay. Hashim says it's North Carolina driving a fuel truck. They're sending fuel trucks to Florida now. Okay. The mixing in of the tornadoes got me, because tornadoes and hurricanes are kind of fundamentally different in the way that they are formed. So that kind of threw me off. I'm like, how a tornado get in there? Like, I know both of them are spinning storms, but still, tornadoes typically take place over land. Tornadoes don't even formulate over water. And from what I've understood, hurricanes are actually larger storm systems than tornadoes. Tornadoes will touch, mess everything up, and next thing you know, the sun is out. We're going to talk about the views comments on Obama's comments. let me take my little screenshot because, you know, I'm not going to be able to play stuff from The View and ABC without being chin checked. So, matter of fact, let me get it together. Let me deal with this. Thank you, M.R. New Groove. I don't know why they're harassing black men over Kamala. She not even black. Maybe harass the Indian or the Irish men. Once we discovered her true identity, she's not our problem anymore. All praise to the Most High. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gregory says salute. Sorry, ladies, but the red pill / manosphere has influenced more men than you would think. Many women are showing their true colors and more men are paying attention. Thank you so much, Gregory. I appreciate you. And thank you once again, Gregory. So I just want to give a shout out to Pink Book Lessons, Janet Jackson, and Candace Owens. Definitely got to give a shout out. So as we know, Kamala's whole and Trump's, this election as a whole for both candidates has been steeped in foolishness, tabloid-like headlines, a lot of just shenanigans on both sides. Trump has legal shenanigans. Okay. He gonna stand somewhere and say something egregious to somebody, and he's so flagrant with a lot of the commentary that he be making. Like, I be getting it sometimes. Sometimes I understand what he be trying to say. Listen, let me tell you something. Trump is a very old, rich white man. And I accept that he feel a certain kind of way about everybody else. He is an old, rich white man that was raised in America. Trump is white. Okay. He has his ideas about black folk and Hispanic folk and everybody else that's not white. Okay. So he gonna be flagrant. Now that's not an excuse or like, oh, ha 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 ha, it's funny. I just know what it is. He's what he is. Be my point. It's not so much backing it or liking it or thinking that it's cool. He just is who he is. And he's kind of blatantly that. And some people like him and some people don't. Okay. Now, sometimes he can be funny. Okay. And sometimes you be like, baby, what is you saying, beloved? What is you saying, beloved? But the reason why my focus has been more so on Kamala, her side of the foolishness in this election, is because black people are sort of, for whatever reason, entangled in it. And I don't like it. I don't like the playing in our faces that have been done by a party that black people have overwhelmingly voted for decade after decade, election after election. Okay. The reason why I focus on the Democratic Party and I'm focusing on Kamala is because they run on identity politics. They run on emotional politics. They run on stuff like that. And they try to rope Black people in, not with tangibles and things that they actually put into place in American society that uplift Black people, or at least, help us out. Even if it's not quote unquote just Black people, just do a good job. Just do a good job. If we're voting for you, then see to some of our interests as a group, right? You have to see to Black people's interests if you're going to play to them and say and trust that you're going to get the majority of the Black vote to your party. Republicans do not necessarily expect the majority of the Black vote, because Black people pretty much in all recent history have not been voting Republican in a large block. Okay? So the Democrats like to run on these identity politics and da-da-da-da-da. So since they do that, we got to focus on them, because if you don't want this scrutiny as it pertains to Black people, don't run on that. For example, Kamala was running on she gonna be the first Black president if she's the first Black female president if she's elected. They led with that. So then when Black people was like, I don't know if she Black though, then especially after Candace Owens did that deep dive into the rabbit hole about it, it's a done deal. I don't care who want to say what. Then it was like, oh, well, what kind of race she is don't matter as long as she good for the job. No. We're not going to say it don't matter, because y'all led with that. Remember, that was one of the talking points. That was one of the things. It was almost like the platform she was running in her campaign. Like, oh, I'm Black, y'all. Come on now. And I'm Black, y'all. And I'm Black, y'all. And I'm black at the black, y'all. Went to a HBCU, y'all. I'm a AKA, y'all. Come on now. And I'm Black. And see, when we was like, no, I don't know about you being Black, baby. Ain't your mama a dye-head Indian? And then we wanted to say that. Then it was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Y'all focus on the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not supposed to be focusing on her race. No. We're going to focus on the race because y'all focused on it. Stop focusing on it. Stop. Because we didn't ask you to focus on that. So now that it got debunked, now we shouldn't been focusing on that. The thing that's bothering me, and y'all put a 2 in the chat if it bothers y'all, if you see it. The thing that's bothering me, that's coming from the left and coming from the Democrats and coming from the leftist news outlets, is the doublespeak propaganda, the gaslighting, and the 1984 ministry of what did he call that in the 1984 book? The news was the ministry of information or something like that. I'm not liking the doublespeak. It's the double speaking for me. I don't like the doublespeak, and I'm hearing it blatantly. It's being blatantly done. And those are the things that I don't like. I don't like the coming back through with the gaslighting. Here's what I mean. We heard Alejandro Mayorkas of FEMA say out of his mouth, we didn't just get this out of the ether. Trump didn't say it. Mayorkas said out of his mouth that FEMA did not have money. Right, the Ministry of Truth. Thank you. That Mayorkas said FEMA did not have the funds, the proper funds, to see to the victims of Hurricane Helene. That they did not have the amount of funds that they needed because that money had been allocated to the immigration crisis. That is what they said, paraphrasing. Everybody heard that. Everybody heard that. He did not mince any words. He said exactly what he said. He said what he said. We saw the video. We heard the sound bite. He said that out of his mouth. We're not gonna Mandela affect that. He said that. Kamala Harris she addressed the press after she visited the affected areas, and she made the announcement that one of the things that the victims of Hurricane Helene could do was apply for some support from FEMA to the tune of $750. We heard that. We heard it. This information is even on FEMA's official website. The double speak. That money, nobody said that money went to immigration. Kamala Harris is not in charge of, and Biden is not in charge of where that money goes, because Congress holds the purse strings to FEMA and the budget and da 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 da. Now everybody took a civics class. Not everybody knows which branch of government handles what. Not everybody understands the difference between the executive branch and the legislative branch of the government. Now, all of a sudden, we know exactly, who had control over the budget and where the budget went and da 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 da. Like, in an effort to tell us that $750 was indeed not what was said to us, that was just the beginning of the support that these people could come to. And FEMA doesn't have any money because, and they skip over why, and then they say, it didn't go to the immigrants, and FEMA tried to ask for more money, and then it got denied through Congress. My question is to that is, why was they out of money in the first place? You said they came back to ask for more. Where did the first money go? Because if you come back to ask for more, that means you had money before it got spent and now you need some more. Stop playing with me. And since everybody knows how to spin doctor this, and everybody knows what Congress does and what the vice president can't do and what the president can do and what they are in charge of and what they're not in charge of and blah, 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 blah. Maybe y'all should give Kamala a call to give her a little civics class. Because when Matt Barnes asked her to briefly explain how a bill becomes a law, she could not even say that process on the federal level. She could not tell you how a bill becomes a law on the federal level. She couldn't. We learned that as Gen Xers from Schoolhouse Rock. Did we or did we not learn that from school? I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city where I'm getting voted on, sitting in committee. I hope to be a law someday. Oh, how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill. She would have did better. They taught the little kids. We was Saturday morning in Sesame Street talking about, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. I remember eating cereal singing, I'm just a bill. I remember that. You know how bills get voted on in the committee in order to move to the Senate, and then if the vote is yes or majority in the Senate, it is moved to the House of Representatives in order to be voted on. If both the Senate and the House of Representatives vote yes on the bill, what they do is they come together. That's called bipartisan. They come together to discuss a single version of that bill that they are going to vote yes to pass into a law. After the Senate and the House of Representatives vote yes on the bill, it is sent to the president to sign into law. My apologies. It is sent to the president to sign into law, who then has the option to do what we call a veto. Okay, he can veto a bill and it's sent back through that process again. Or he can simply go ahead and sign it into law and it becomes a law, a federal law. Amendments to existing laws work the same way. That would be happening in the legislative branch of the United States government. She couldn't answer that question. This is the woman running for president, and she doesn't know how bills become law on a federal level. She couldn't answer. That's a simple question. That's 2-3 minutes to explain it. Moving on from that. Well, see, here's the thing, Double A. Did they have Schoolhouse Rock in Canada? Because she was a middle class kid in Canada. Let's get to these egregious comments. Back it up just a little bit.
Surprised that question got so much pickup, because the bottom line is the Biden administration has had one of the best records of any other presidency in decades. And so why change something that ain't broke? You know, why fix something that's not broken? I think she certainly could have said, I'm going to expand upon it and bring in my own lived experience, which she did. She ultimately did finally say, I'm going to have a Republican in my candidate. That certainly is very different.
She had a plan for Medicare.
And she has a plan for Medicare
that would help all these people who suffer.
That somehow has gotten lost. But to your point about the vice president having to shore up men, Obama did sort of go to a campaign office and speak to black men in particular. And I think we have a clip of that.
Yes.
You have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you.
So let me just say this. I think that she certainly does have a problem with men because misogyny is a real thing in this
And
country.
not just black men.
I don't think
White
black men are
and
the
black
problem.
men. Yeah.
Black men are not the problem. Black men are used to matriarchy. Okay, black men are used to black women being the heads of the family, black grandmothers raising them. They are used to that. Kamala
Y'all heard what she said. Black men are not the problem because black men are used to black women running them. Sonny Holston said in that clip, after listening to the clip of Obama speak and blame misogyny for black men not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. And then Sonny Holston's response to that, her commentary on that included that black men were not the problem, not because they're not problematic, but because they've been run by the gynocracy so long, there's no way that they are misogynistic. They have been cowed by their women. Black women run them. So it's not fathomable or reasonable to think that black men would be not voting for Kamala as a female because she's a female, because black men are accustomed to being led around by the nose and possibly by the belt strap by women, by black women. They're the head, black women are the heads of households and they're the heads of the family. So it's matriarchal anyways. So black men don't have a backbone anyway. So therefore, there's no way that black men could be suffering from an aversion to female leadership because they mama lead them and they mama tell them what to do and their grandmamas and the women of the community tell them what to do anyway. So, I mean, there's no way that they are opposed to that because, I mean, the black community is a gynocracy anyway. That's basically what she said. That's what she said. That black men do not have, baby, not, I looked right over there. Leave me alone today. That black men are spineless jellyfish that are always being led by women. Always being led by women. How egregious is that? How egregious is that? And I'm going to tell you why it's egregious. But first, after these messages, we'll be right back. Because I need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. You need to go to ashkicking.com if you want to keep your skin looking healthy and looking wonderful throughout the year. Not only do they have this wonderful body butter that smells exquisite, they also have other body care products that you definitely want to have in your arsenal. If this is going to be your first order, please go ahead and take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat with ashkicking.com. Don't know how many likes I actually need, but I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button, bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button. Let's see. Let's go to The super chats, thank you, Jay. The light seekers, everything Democrats have done since the start of this campaign has pushed black men away to other parties, especially Trump. Obama has no sway with us. Thank you to Renzo. Said Trump is the white character in the Neely Fuller Jr. videos who spells supremacy as supremacy and says he's truculent. See, I'm not familiar with Neely Fuller Jr.'s video. Sorry. Meaning very smart. Old, trying to say he articulate. And he's older than you. Watch the video. Thank me later. Okay, I'll watch it then. Thank you, Pharaoh. So Kamala don't realize she's driven more men away by promoting the gynocracy through a simp former president. And thank you for your membership. I appreciate you, Pharaoh. Look at Dapper in your avatar. Thank you, Miss Lucasely, for your super sticker and your support. I appreciate you, beloved. Thank you, Greatness 81. And most black folk want to be entertained, not educated. Information have to be presented to them through a form of entertainment, that which is sad, actually. Thank you, Craig. So much love and continued success, Crimson. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Pharaoh says. So I see why the oppressors don't make a black hate crime bill when they make an Asian one. Thank you, Bernard. So FEMA spent their entire yearly budget in surplus on illegal immigrants, went back to Congress to ask for more money. They said no, not for immigrants. Thank you, Measured Man. Said, what can you expect when Tupac is her favorite rapper alive and her mom paid cash for her PhD? Thank you, Great Britain. Said, scolded black men on camera. Unbelievable. And what other race of men has Obama spoken to like that? Thank you, Gamali. Said they basically double dog daring black men to not vote for her. That's exactly what it is. And thank you, Deadly Raver. Says it's been a long time. So here's a little dirt in your pocket for the weekend. Keep on cooking the hyenas, Crimson. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of the support. So we got Sunny on The View saying that black men are the spineless jellyfish that are always being led around by women. So them having a problem voting for Kamala because she's a woman couldn't be, because I mean, women are always in leadership over them. You know what I find the most egregious is that there's some truth to that. Not the part where black men don't have a spine, but the part where our community is hyena led. It's led by a group of hyenas. And this is why we call them hyenas, because a hyena clan is matriarchal, but they scavengers, and it's crazy. Like, it's crazy how they operate. And our community definitely, for the large majority, operate like that. That's the unfortunate part of that. I don't personally think that black men don't have a spine or that they are weak-willed. Here's the thing that I think the majority of black men be trying to do. They be trying to support what they consider to be the community, which is everybody. It was proved that black women don't see the community as inclusive of black men and black women together. When Ice Cube was on the that show, the tea with, y'all know what I'm talking about, sipping with the whatever, with Claudia Jordan and all them. And he was talking about what he wanted to discuss with either candidate, Trump or whoever. Trump. This is when Trump was running against Biden. And he was basically saying, doesn't matter who gets in office, I want to speak to them about my plan for black people. Okay? Because he had the right idea. We want the government to help us, but we don't present to them what we want help with and what we want them to help us with. Right? So I didn't see a problem with sort of putting a structure to that and not just saying we want stuff for black people. Right? And when I believe it was Selena or one of the ladies asked, well, what happened? It might have been Vivica. Well, what is going on? What is it in here for Black women? He kind of looked a little puzzled, like, what you mean just for Black women? This is Black people. This is everybody. What do you mean? What's for Black women? What do you mean? What's nothing separate for Black women? I mean, we're a community together, are we not? And she was like, no, Black women is, we got to be separate, something for us. So the majority of the hyena clan do not see Black men as part of the community. For them, the community is the women and the children. Black men are not part of the community, whether the men are part of the Gynocracy or not. You understand? Whether the men are part of the Gynocracy or not is neither here nor there. So my thoughts on that overall is that Black men be trying to be on code with the Black community and vote how Black people are voting. The problem is that it's so out of hand and so not steeped or rooted in anything factual or tangible that men tune out. When I say it, I mean the way that the Democratic Party runs and the way that they try to relate to Black people. It's not based in reality. It's not based in any tangible. It's not based in anything that makes sense in reality. So when you start not doing this with men, where you don't connect with them with reality and things that their hands can touch or things that their eyes can see, you automatically block them out. And from what the rest of the video, I'm not going to play the rest of the video, but from what the rest of that conversation was talking about, it's not just Black men that Kamala isn't getting support from. She's getting a very underwhelming support from all men in America, whether they be Black, white, Hispanic, whatever. So the men in general are like tuning out, because what are men concerned with? Men are concerned with job opportunities, business opportunities, the economy, the ability to make money, the ability to save money, the ability to take care of themselves, the ability to take care of their family, the ability to afford the things that they want to afford. That is what men want to make sure, that this country is not headed into endless war after endless war. And the reason why men are concerned with that is because they're the ones that are called to go to war when there is war. So if war can be avoided, then the men would prefer to avoid a war that America doesn't have to get into, because he doesn't want to be called. And if he's too old to be called, he don't want his son to have to be called to the theater of war. Okay. So this is and this is just from my observation of the things that black men and men in general talk about when they talk about why they aren't voting for Kamala and why they would vote for Trump. One of the first things that they talk about is disinflation in the economy is too much, the jobs we want. That's what they're talking about. So for men in general, Black men specifically, this has less to do with her being a female and more to do with the fact that the whole way in which Democrats even talk to Black men and about Black men is a complete turnoff to them. It's a complete turnoff to them. Trying to tell Black men that Trump is prejudiced and racist and a white supremacist that's gonna oppress them, that don't scare them. Especially, we're talking about our men that are men. We talking about men talking and interfacing with another man. What that got to do with anything? I'm gonna tell you why, and the brothers can correct me because I've never lived a single day as a black man. So y'all can correct me if I am wrong. But black men on their day-to-day, at some point in their life, the majority of black men have already faced down a white supremacist somewhere. Whether we talking systematically, one-to-one, they've had to be in their business or on their workspace or in their job space, having to deal with maybe a boss or whomever that, you know what I'm saying, you know that he feel a way about you because you black, and you might have to have a conversation or a confrontation with him about how he's acting and what's going on. Black men have to deal with white police officers and even the black ones that be acting a fool. So black men have to do that on their day-to-day. That's not scary to them. Trying to tell him, ooh, he gonna take your rights away. It's like, you know what? Whatever. He not good for democracy. And when you talk to our brothers, when has democracy been good for them anyway? Black men have long decided that they have to get stuff how they live. They have to get it how they live. And forget about the little system, blah, 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 the system. Yeah, it's there, you know what I'm saying? But they whole focus can't be over there, especially on no fear-mongering type of stuff. Black men, because they still men in this country, they still got to do what they got to do. They still got to go make money. They still got to take care of themselves. They still got families. They still have dreams, aspirations, businesses they want to start, stuff they want to do, places they want to go. But they still got that. Just like every other man in this country. So they're trying to see where is the best road so I can get to that space. And if I got to go through a so-called white supremacist to get there, fine, whatever, because I always have to go through them to get there anyway. I always got to fight for whatever it is I'm trying to get anyway. I always got to do an extra fight. So that extra fight is not scaring me. That scare y'all. That scare you little bed wenches. Y'all scared of massa. Say that. That scare tactic work for y'all because y'all some little hyena bed wenches that scared of your master. Let's say what it really is. But the men of our group that done already decided he gonna buckle down, he gonna do what he gotta do, all that little scare tactic bedwind stuff, that ain't hitting on nothing. That little buck broke, you know what I'm saying? A little buck breaking talk. We done with the buck break talk. We done with that. And that's what's got them scared. That the majority of black men, I do believe that it is, if it's not a majority, it's a large minority of black men that is waking up and like, no, you're not going to keep on talking to me like that. Not going to keep on talking. They're not avoiding the polls. They're voting. They're just not going to vote for who you want them to vote for. And if black men as a group decide that they're going to vote for Trump, you know where white folks is going. White folks going to vote for Trump. It was white women that voted in me in the first time. While the left want to talk about all these women's rights, white women was like, and they went and voted the way their husbands was voting. See, they trying to act like black men and black women should be voting different, trying to, you know what I'm saying, break up the household on some political, White women voted the way their husbands was voting. because he was running against a white woman. People forget that. Hillary Clinton, which was more qualified for the position than Kamala Harris. At least, like I said before, I wasn't too fond. I'm not too fond of voting for a woman for the president role. But I ain't never thought Hillary was stupid. I ain't never looked at her and was like, ooh, that's a dingbat. That is one dingy woman right there. I look at Kamala, and that is a dingy woman, right? That is a ding. I think her hands know more than her head because she talks with them. Somebody need to handcuff her when she talks and see can she get her thoughts out. I ain't never looked at Hillary and say that's a dingy woman. You may not like her, but I didn't think she was stupid. And white women had an opportunity in that election to do white woman empowerment, and they did not do that. They voted with their men. And white men was not voting for Hillary. They was voting for Trump. And we know who won that election. So it bothered me what Sonny said, but not because it was completely untrue. It bothered me because there was truth to what she said. That's why it bothered me. Because there was some truth to what she said. She wasn't complete. She wasn't just lying when she said Black men are under a matriarchy. She wasn't lying. And it's unfortunate. But being led politically by a group of women who don't even have the best interest of the group in mind, we have seen where that has led us. We are on the brink of social and economic extinction as a group of Black Americans. We're about to become very irrelevant. When Sonny hosting, The View interviewed Kamala a few days ago. And when they asked her, what would she do differently? What would be the big differences between a Harris-Walz administration versus a Biden-Harris administration? In essence, what will you do differently than Joe Biden has done? And she said, not a thing comes to mind. I know. This is why I would not vote for a woman president. And I said this before. I would not vote for a woman in that type of power seat because women don't do two things. It's a couple of things that's in our nature that works against us in the leadership role. Couple of things. Submission, that following, the followership, even when it's women that claim that they're so independent and so fierce and they don't follow. Women have a natural following, like we follow. As you can see, it's opposite to leadership. We be following, okay? We are naturally prone to chaos rather than order. Now, that's important because order would involve system, order, and structures. Okay? And women do not create that. Also, we pass on cultures and things of that nature. So that followership piece, we don't create system, order, and structures. We're not inherently the problem solvers. We nest. What all of that says is that women do not produce the change of their environment. We don't oppose our environments. We do our best to survive in them, but we don't oppose them. Opposing environments is not in female nature. And if you're going to be a leader, you have to oppose environments. You have to be the catalyst that changes environments, that changes a system. That what she said was, the men before me laid out a system, order, and structure. And whether it works or not, I don't have a choice but to submit to that, because I don't have SOS of my own, because I'm a woman and I don't create that. While simultaneously telling you that she is an agent of change. You understand that? This is why I want to extend that concept of women not opposing environments. We don't get together and impose environments. This is why you don't see a lot of women marching out and doing a whole bunch of just this driven activism to change. You know what I'm saying? The environment, that's not our nature. Women are potential energy, not kinetic. Lionesses are even more so, because we're more in tune with our femininity and our womanhood and our feminine energy. The most we can do is not participate in the detriment and in the foolishness. We won't participate in it because we know it's crazy, and we won't agree to it. And in our sphere of influence, we won't support it. So we won't be like if we have women in our sphere of influence, daughters, nieces, you know what I'm saying, women like that, we will give voice to, no, this is foolishness. Don't engage in that. But we are not the opposers of environment. Women are not gonna swoop down and just change America. Like we can't. We can't. That is seated solely in male energy, masculine energy. That's masculine energy. That's male nature. It's not even just masculine energy. It's male nature to do that. Female nature does not lend itself to that. We have a very hard time with that. We will support the men who change the environment if we understand that the environment they want to change it to is beneficial and good. So like if the lions get together and be like, no, we changing it, the lionesses are definitely going to line up behind it. We absolutely going to line up. But to ask the lionesses to get in front and lead the charge, that's not even, the more we feminine, why would we lead the charge? We're leading y'all? No. We don't lead no charges. We don't lead no charges. We not the leaders, and we know that. Even in nature, it's not the lionesses that take down the hyena matriarchy. The males do that. The lionesses are there because we're going to bite us some hyenas. We going to come back up now. We're going to back you all the way up now. We're going to get out there with you now, but we're not going to get out there before you. We get out there with you, not in front of you. When a hyena matriarchy get too crazy, we get that man, that male lion to come out and handle that business. We back him up. He don't back us up. There ain't no male lion waiting on no lioness to handle no hyena clan. He ain't waiting on that. He not looking like y'all ain't gonna handle y'all business just because they female. That is not his problem. That's not his concern. That's not his ministry. His ministry is to get rid of the clan. That's his ministry. He know they female. That don't make him no never mind. That is why I would not vote for a woman in that type of seat. That's too much. That's too much system, order, and structure. That's too much planning. That's too much delegating. It's too heavy of a leadership. Even if you think of that seat, even if you think of the presidential seat as a figurehead, even if you think of it that way, right? It's still too much leadership. And before we go, shout out to Pink Book Lesson. But before we go, Biden threw a whole monkey wrench. When Trump said Biden don't like her, I'm starting to believe that. Because the way I cackled, I'm telling y'all, the way that I cackled when he was up there, like she had the power to do everything I could do. When he said that, I cackled. He threw her all the way under the bus, baby. All that rhetoric, was she just the vice president? She didn't have the power to do this and the power to do that. He said, They asked him, well, you know, she running for the presidency and how close is y'all working? He said, we talk to each other all the time. We singing from the same song sheet. She got the same. I delegated her a lot of power to do all of the things that, you know what I'm saying, I could do. I gave her a voice and a say on foreign policy, domestic policy. You know, I did. He said, we on the same page. We doing the same thing. He told everybody, listen, Biden be in a fog. But he came out that fall good enough to throw her up under that bus. He came up clear enough to say that. And you know he gets up there and mumbles because he be having dementia. And I believe he got Alzheimer's. And it's getting a little worse and stuff like that. But he came out of his fog good enough to say, no, don't buy that. Don't buy that. Don't lie on me. And say I did everything and she couldn't do nothing else. Yes, she could. I gave her power over the policy. I gave her power over the border. I delegated her a lot of little different little tasks, guys. You know, hey. Cause see, a funny thing happens with older people when they suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's. They lose the ability to lie. One of the attacks that Alzheimer's, it attacks the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe of the brain is where we can construct lies. We have that's where the filter's at. Don't say that. You shouldn't say that. Say it like that. Don't say it. It's the frontal lobe. And once that frontal lobe start getting foggy, the ability to mask what you say and filter what you say and don't say it like this, word it like that, the ability to do that starts fading away. So you'll notice that old people who have dementia and Alzheimer's, they don't have no filter. They will say exactly what came to them, exactly what came to their mind. And you are not going to like it because they don't have no filter about it. They can't, you know what I'm saying? Oh, this is going to hurt their feelings, so don't say it like that. So Biden ain't trying to hear that. Biden, I don't think he like her all that tough. Because Biden don't like quote unquote people of color. Biden don't like black people and non-white people. Biden is very racist. 94 crime bill. You want me? Y'all need to pull up them YouTube clips of him talking about black people like a dog. Y'all think Trump is bad. And this was in the 90s, baby. He wasn't suffering from dementia then. He was talking big talk. Because never forget, Biden an old white man too. He just puts his little face on and, he fronts it up and hams it up and all that kind of stuff. But Biden ain't better than nobody else. And so I can believe that he don't like her. And so now he's in and out of that fog, and they messes around and asks him questions, and he be lucid that day. He wasn't in a fog that time. He wasn't in a fog that day. They got him on up off that beach, put him in his suit and asked him a question, and you weren't gonna like the answer. Right. They threw that under the rug, Ray. He was walking around with a MAGA hat. He did not know what that hat was. He knew exactly what he was doing, trolling her. He got just enough cognitive ability to troll her and say who he don't like. They're gonna learn to stop putting the microphone in front of his mouth. Because as his cognitive abilities slip, they're not gonna be liking what he say on that mic. The real you come out when Alzheimer's strip your ability to lie about it. They better stop putting that microphone in front of them. They're gonna be very embarrassed, and there's not gonna be funny. He's gonna say some stuff. They're gonna be like, ooh. But you can't tell me he didn't know he had that MAGA hat on him. He knew he had that MAGA hat on him. I wouldn't be surprised if Biden vote for Trump. Thank you, Jalen. Said black women been calling on black male leadership, but when we say we're going right, they say, remember your place. Sound like a setup to me. Thank you again, Pharaoh. So Vivica and them have a PhD in stank area. Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Says simple. She's a horrible speaker, candidate, and running on baby delegations or baby deletions. It's simple. She's a horrible speaker, candidate. Oh, okay. You try to clean it up. But thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate you. Thank you, HVACs have been helping with power restoration in Tampa. Sunny needs to shut up. She's not even black. This is what the passport bros escaped from. Can't blame them. Thank you, Common Man. Said, can't believe me and Obama and the crew used to get high together back in the day when we was kids in the 80s. Funny how things change, people. We was just kids. Thank you, Great Britain. Said Ice Cube presented contract with Black America to both parties, and Trump was the only one who took it seriously. That's why I'm voting for Trump. Thank you again, Pharaoh. Said I'm willing to face racism head on, then undercover. Thank you again, Patrick. Says she's part of a system that avoids Black people, especially men, and telling Black women that their most important thing is baby deletions. You are exactly correct. Thank you, Chemical. How you doing, Chemical? Says seems most American women are anti-family. They want to rule solo. Black women, Black men want to elevate all of us. Shaking my head. Thank you, Bernard Gohar. So Hillary Clinton won a popular vote. So it's false to say that men don't want to vote for a woman. Thank you, Utah. Said good evening, Sister Davis. Because of the utmost disrespect for Black men, do you think Black men should stop voting altogether? This system hates God's value system that Black men value. I don't know if Black men should not vote altogether, because I think if Black men decide that, then the ones that want to build a new place have to work on going somewhere else. Because the reason I say that is this: you either have, I guess, some type of voice or not. I'm not a big believer in the political system to begin with, but I think Black men's votes are more potent on the local level than it is the federal level. So I think if Black men want to really sway things, they'll start doing that local and state and getting the things that they want. Getting together and saying, what do we want? What do we want our governors to do? What do we want our mayors to do? What do we want from them as a community? Draw it up and present it. Put their money behind a candidate and hold that candidate accountable to standing on business when it comes to the platform they ran on and the promises that was made to Black people, and to Black men. Black men actually, I believe, have that amount of power and sway. And just don't listen to what the majority of Black women are talking about, because we already know what they're talking about. It doesn't matter what they're talking about. Get together with other men who, you know what I'm saying, have similar goals. We're going in the same direction, and we can come to a consensus on what it is, and just don't even bother with trying to figure out what Black women are doing. They'll either sink or swim behind that. I hope that answered your question. It's not that I'm some type of expert on what it would take, but I think if you don't want to do any type of voting, state, federal, nothing, then you probably want to start preparing to just be somewhere else that's more palatable. And I'm not saying that in a vindictive kind of way, but it might be time for us to do that anyway. Real talk. Shell Shock, been a member for 6 months. Thank you so much for that support. So I hope I ain't too late for the barbecue. Was gonna bring some greens, but since they trying to pump me to eat them clean from the tub, I brought cabbage. Thank you, Greaseman. Say it's not acceptable by real men to be talked down to for results. Talk to us with logic and reason. That's where the Democrats fail. Exactly. Thank you again. Pharaoh said you enjoyed that too much. If you're talking about Biden, oh, definitely. Thank you, Mogul Maze, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jared. Said, ask Stacey Abrams what happened last time they tried to shame black men voting. They're so used to insulting black men, they don't realize they're doing it. Thank you, Mia, for your super stick. I appreciate you, sweetheart. Thank you, Ruminants. I saw the video of Biden on the Senate floor arguing for the 94 crime bill. There should have been a pack of dogs in there because he was using all the dog whistles. Yes, I'm glad somebody in here saw that as well. Thank you, Scorched Earth. Obama said he's for black men, but Zimmerman's still walking around. And Tiason Johnson has an excellent plan. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you, Ben. Said all of this black men, all of this is black men in a rebel alliance against the empire. The empire is the gynocracy. He is part of the rebel alliance and a traitor. Take him away. Thank you, Utah. Said, do you mean being a passport bro when you say move somewhere else? That too. But I mean, like, as a collective of men, along with the women who want to do it. Essentially, the lions and the lionesses who no longer want to be part of it. Don't want to be part of it. It might be time for us to do that anyway. Because it needs to be built anew. And I'm willing to allow the matriarchy and the gynocracy as it is to burn to the ground. And the lions and lionesses just do a new thing. We don't have to build on those old ashes. We can just do something else. Do something else completely. Thank you, HVAC said a new Jedi Order must be built. Yeah, pretty much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get on up out of here. I appreciate everybody for coming in and supporting. I appreciate all of you guys' support. Somebody put Black Community Speak link in the chat for me, please. Somebody do that for me. Thank you, Miss Nicole. I appreciate you. All right. Before we get out of here,
Friends and family, I would like you to check out blackcommunityspeak.com. Now, blackcommunityspeak.com is a forum-based website. So something that's very simple where you can get on, you can get off, get involved with a lot of topics. Now, Black Community Speaks is a place that's for black men and women to talk about issues that's affecting the entire community. So on blackcommunityspeak.com, they talk about topics in the range of news, what's going on in society, relationships, technology, business, food and recipes, gaming, health and fitness, music, and many, many more. On Black Community Speak, it's a place where you can be safe to say what you want to say without the fear of big tech censorship. So make sure you head on over to blackcommunityspeak.com and sign up today.
all right, go ahead, click the link. It is now pinned to the top of the chat. Go ahead and give the brother a follow on his page. Sign up start a conversation, join a conversation on the Black Brothers forum. It's a nice forum. It's actually a good one because you know how sometimes forums are disjointed, it's hard to navigate, hard to even look at them. Sometimes forums I don't like, but Black Community Speak, this brother's forum is very clean. The format is very easy to follow, very easy to sign up, very easy to join a conversation or start one. So once again, the link to Black Community Speak forum is pinned to the top of the chat. All right, before we go, don't hesitate to go to crimsoncure.com to receive your merch. Purchase my book, Reclaiming the Black Feminine, and hats, hoodies, t-shirts. I'm always putting together or thinking about new designs. I did add some stuff to the store just recently. So you might want to go to crimsoncure.com and check out the new designs that I've added to the store in both the men and women's categories. So go ahead, check that out. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.